Hey guys, welcome to Behind the Curtain, the series where I go ahead and talk about my life recently and a running theme throughout. It's not been too long since the last one, but I finally got around to doing it again. So yeah, you also might notice a few little extra music things in this one. I've tried to add more music to my playlist, so it's not just the same songs on loop. And there was something else I was going to mention that I've kind of completely forgot about. So that was Among Us, but hey ho. Yeah, it's not going to be a happy one. To be fair, they're never really happy ones. But yeah, things have. It feels so like fake when I'm doing it like this, but it's because I feel like it'd be so dreary for me to just literally be sat here like worrowing. What's the word? I can't even think of the word, but just like on the verge of tears talking about this stuff. I mean, it feels weird because the argument's like, what are you even saying anyway? But you know, we've been through this shtick before. The point is, you know, you might have similar things that, you know, you've been through that are kind of, you know, you feel like you've got a voice or whatever because of it and whatever, and then they're checking in your weeks and blah, 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 blah. You know the shtick by now. And yeah, we're just going to get into it. I can't remember when the last one actually was. I think it was just after the auditions that I did, which went well. So that was probably 3 weeks ago now. But yeah, we're here with the next episode, and it's mostly going to kind of be on this last week, to be honest, because I don't really remember anything major that happened between then. Had a couple trips. I think I would have had the more recent Sheffield trip with everyone at that last one on the last video. I think I would have mentioned it. So, but met up again with Dennis and Lacey, and that was just like a one-off little day, and it was nice. It was way more chill. We didn't do too much, but it was, you know, nice to catch up again. It's always nice to be with people in person when you're someone like me who I don't have any like connections my age in person, so it's very nice to get that whenever I can. So yeah, other than that, not really much to touch on apart from this week. So last week is probably bottom 5 weeks in my life, maybe. I'll get into it, but yeah, it's been awful. I'll be so honest. It's been really rough because I've basically had a lot of stuff to deal with, and I think just the way I live my life, things build on me, and I just naturally kind of like just deal with it because I've just kind of, that's just how I work. Like I've just always lived like that, and that's how things had to be, and that's how I felt most comfortable sometimes or whatever. And yeah, to kind of start all off, last week would have been Lads Meetup. I probably mentioned this in a previous video. We cancelled it this year, and I say we, it was me. And it was basically just because various people were away, and it was becoming really hard to kind of sort of schedule, to the point where it's becoming tedious, and it just felt like people weren't in for it. There's a lot of people that were dropping for this, that, or whatever, and it's like, I get, everybody has their own lives, their different priorities and stuff, but I was like, you know, it's becoming more strain on me than it's worth, and I feel like I did, at the time, the healthy thing, and for myself, and was like, yeah, I'm gonna I know 4 block. Oh, I'm stupid. I'm gonna just not do this trip because it, you know, if other people aren't putting in what I'm putting in, not that they would put the exact same in, but then like, you know, is it gonna be worth it, sort of thing. But yeah, so that didn't happen. And last week, throughout, you know, my head, like a little bit the whole time, is the fact that I would have been on this trip, and obviously I was not. So that kind of set off the tempo for the week. It definitely is one of those cases where, like, I've definitely negatively manifested the week, because I, like, in the back of my head, I was sat there thinking, yeah, well, I know that the thing I want to do, I'm not going to be able to do today, this week, and that's going to drain on me, and it did. The main things is, I obviously can't go into much detail on this one specifically, but work sucked. There was a lot of really, really hectic stuff. Had to deal with, like, a lot of people, and it was incredibly mentally draining. Had like a lot of higher ups in who were like keeping their eye on everything. I cut my finger in front of 20 business people. Yeah, it was a disaster, and more things kept on sort of like piling up that I was kind of trying to helm myself. And, you know, afterwards, maybe this is the running theme throughout last week, but afterwards I was not happy with how it went at all. And then people were like, oh, well done on how you handled this, blah, blah, blah. But, like, it wasn't good enough, you know? Like, it just felt like it was a disappointment and that, like, I should have been way better at all that stuff. And none of that should have happened. And then it made me look like a right idiot who is incapable of doing something that I do very often. But just that time, when there was more pressure or whatever, it didn't go right. And it felt like I just looked like a right idiot. And it was awful. So that was draining. Obviously, that's kind of like a whole week thing. Like, if you have a rough week at work, like you start off with a rough week, then you're basically going to keep a rough week. it's not going to get better in work context. The other thing is something, well, for the sake of the situation, I'm not going to get too much into. But there's been a really serious situation regarding someone close to me. That, oh, I'm trying not to get emotional. Really hurt. Yeah, it was one of those situations where, you know, me trying to do the right thing and all this, and it was a case of trying to discern the truth from fiction or whatever, and yeah, that really took a toll on me. As I've kind of said, I try and take charge of situations or like kind of bite the bullet a lot, especially because I do feel like I'm good at handling them from like a logistical standpoint, and I feel like I do know how to navigate around a lot of the scenarios really well, balancing sort of like, you know, emotion and like seriousness. But that situation was awful, and there's some parts of that like I'm still kind of thinking about now. I also feel really bad because it's kind of the first situation where I had to just back out, which I've never really done before. And, you know, I was speaking to people and I was kind of being encouraged to kind of do it for myself, because, you know, I need to sometimes say when I am taking too much stuff on and sort of admit and be like, yeah, I can't handle this right now. I kind of need your help, because I don't do that often. And a big part of me feels guilty for that. And also just there's a big part of me that just feels like just something about everything that happened was just off. But I mean, things point to, you know, that if there's, you know, a few, like, almost like 10 things pointing towards a certain outcome, then, like, you can't just ignore the facts forever, right? You know? And I just feel, like, really bad for the people involved and for, like, my handling of it and whatever. But, yeah, that was a real big strain on me this last week. And it really sucks because it's something that I can't talk about, and I feel like it's something I need to help get off my chest. And I've been speaking to someone about it to try and help get off my chest, but it's like, and that does help, but I really wish I could do that in person, you know. But that's the beauty of online things, right? Other than that, the thing that, you know, the straw that broke the camel's back, maybe I'll title this video that, because that definitely is the vibe. I had a performance on Friday, so it's like a charity thing. I did it last year, and I posted the video of it. It's when I did Cry Me River, I Really Want to Stay at Your House, and what was the last one? Whatever the last one was. But, yeah, and I flopped it. And, like, it just completely broke me. Yeah, so the day was, like, pretty terrible. Obviously, it was the same week, right? So everything was kind of low. But I was, you know, trying to hype myself up all week, and I was like, you know, I can do this. Because I normally have to hype myself up performances anyway. Not because I'm there like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do it, but just confidence, which I'll get more into. But yeah, I was hyping myself up for it. I was making sure I had the songs practice and stuff. And then it was just the perfect storm of terrible things happened. It was 33 degrees, and the area in which I perform is an old building. It is not air conditioned. So as you can imagine, all that sort of stress with that heat, plus being on a stage, so the heat's even worse. It was awful. It was the worst I think I've felt heat-wise maybe ever, other than maybe when I was in a sauna. it was insufferable and terrible, and I messed up words. My voice broke. I try and set the bar high for like doing different things for performances because I don't like standing still, and I did all that, and then the sort of movement stuff I tried didn't work. The song I was going for was a very different style to what I would normally do, and I feel like it just came off very cringe, and it destroyed me. I just afterwards, I just kind of went outside for like 3 hours, text someone, and just kind of looked up at the sky and the really hot temperatures and just was thinking about life. It was a real low point. And it sucked a lot, and I'm still definitely not over it. I'm really disappointed in myself, and I don't know, it's just that, performance I was thinking over for a while, like almost a year. I was thinking over, I want to perform these songs, so, I've got this vision of what I want to do and stuff like that, and then it came down to it. One of the few times I do perform a year, and performances are one of the few things that, like, I did have some sort of confidence in myself. Comparison is, like, the root of evil, but we all do it naturally, and I'm very, very guilty of it. But performances is the one thing where I can be like, you know what? I can compare myself all day with people for all sorts of things, but with performances, I've grown up with people telling me, you actually are good at that, or I can look at it and go, I actually do like push the bar a little bit. But yeah, I've kind of just lost all my confidence with it. I'll be so real. And I think that's kind of why I'm very shattered at the moment. One of the few things where I can sit there and look at it and go like, yeah, I can do that. That's a thing I can do. It's something that, like, not everyone can do that thing. I can do it. It's almost like I prove my worth by being able to do something like that. To have that absolutely fall apart. I couldn't put it into words then, and I can't put it into words now. Yeah, it was awful. And I'm curious. I mean, I'm saying this for 2 reasons. Well, 3 reasons, I guess. One, to get off my chest. But I'm curious if you guys have had something similar. And also, sometimes I'm not very vulnerable in general with, like, people. I probably should be more. But I think I'm just kind of... My life has just pushed me in a sense where I can't be. There's only really, like, one person I'll speak to about anything, like, sensitive, really. It's rough. But, I'm trying to, help other people that might, have felt similar things, maybe going through a similar thing right now, and kind of think, by seeing an example of being so, like, vulnerable or talking about these things, it might be able to help. And, yeah, it was awful. I very much am kind of at a point where I'm going to swap housings. That wasn't the thing where it's going on, but... I feel I've probably done this one before, guys. I'll be so real. Yeah, ever since then, I mean, that was on Friday, and ever since then, my head's just been gone. I am struggling to see the positives in a lot of things, mainly myself, and I'm struggling to sort of have any semblance of confidence. I'm not sure how much I've touched on this in this series, but I am far from a very confident person. It's something that I try and push across as hard as I can. Because I just kind of learned that people like confidence in the sense of, it makes people comfortable, or it makes you feel dependable, or anything like that. And I've always tried to uphold that as much as possible. And I am good at doing it for the most part. Well, I'm good at upholding a smile for the most part. And this is just like, it's really hit me hard, because it just feels like, as one of the few barriers that I had that was holding me up, with that being gone, I just kind of have gone back and questioned sort of every avenue of my life, and I'm now at this point. And that's the theme. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that one cringe Facebook meme, but where it's like that box where it's like a little thing of slime. He's like been stuck inside a box for like his whole life, and he's trying to push out the box. It's like, you know what, I'm gonna push out that box, and then something happens, and then all of a sudden he gets pushed right back in that box, and now the box is even tighter than it was before. That's what my life feels like right now. It feels like I've tried a lot throughout my life to kind of try and keep going and push through things, and keep optimistic and hopeful and things like that. And every time that I do that, and it falls apart, a little bit of me, it gets harder. It gets a lot harder to push through that. And that is where I am right now. It's really hard for me to push through that. I was asked to go to a rehearsal today to do one of my songs for the next show, and I asked if we could postpone it because I don't have the confidence in myself. I recorded a guitar cover, and it's very basic and very simple, and it's not that good. But I don't know if I want to post it on like my private Twitter like I would sometimes, because it's just, I don't think it's that good. I'm just questioning a lot of things about myself, and like how happy I am at what point I am. I mean, I'm questioning like, what do I have ahead? Which I have done a lot, but with this frame of mind and the stuff that's happened, I'm sat there thinking like, what am I gonna do? Like, where am I gonna go from here? This week's been filled with some choices where I've been left to feel like I'm a bad person. It's been left with some choices where I've been left to feel like I am useless and inept and not as good as other people at the things I do. I've left to feel that like one of the few things that actually felt like I was like validated or that I was worth fell apart. All those things stacking up in 1 week on top of everything that is my life anyway. I worry a lot about my age and the point I am in life, the fact that I'm much further back progress-wise than a lot of people. It's put me in this state where it's rough, and I don't really know where I go from here. I'm questioning like my online life and my life in general. Like, I'm kind of to the point where the amount of times I've had things happen online now where I've lost people, or people have been bad people, or the amount of mental drain that I've had from the online space. And obviously I'm looking at a lot of negatives right now, and I don't know why I'm defending myself, but like I do know that like there is positives, but right now it's hard for me to see those. There's so much stuff that I've had to do or go through, and you could argue I've not had to, because naturally, me being me, I've bit the bullet. But it's hard to not struggle with looking at it all now that it's all kind of like piling on top of me. And yeah, I don't really know what to do, because it makes me think, what actually am I without everyone else's burdens? Like, I feel like I spend so much time focusing on other people or worrying and thinking about other people that I just kind of, I don't really know what to do when it's just me. Like right now, this week, I'm not excited. Like, I finished work today and I felt a void because I was free to do what? I didn't have, I don't really have anything major. I have like a holiday coming up, but it's not with friends. It's gonna be, I think it's gonna be bleak. It's gonna be sad. It's gonna be lonely, like a lot of my life is, and it's really rough. It's really rough, and I'm just trying to find a way through it. Find a silver lining, a light at the end of the tunnel. I've spoken about these topics sometimes before briefly, but this is definitely, I think, as far as I can recall, virtually the lowest. And I don't know why. I think the only thing I can think is it's all those sort of small parts of my life just burning down, and just the fact that time goes on. And I've always very much talked about change and how I don't like change because I only ever lose, and I've been thinking about that even more lately because I do only ever lose with change. I was like, maybe I'd like change more if I focused on the positives. It's like, like you should, right? Focus on the positives and things that have changed my life for the better. And I sit and I go, when was the last time something changed my life for the better? I don't know. I would probably say when I got a job, and that was 2.5 years ago. And even then, it still has all the drainage that a job has. And it's a really sad way to look at things. And I know it's not the right way to look at things, but it's how I am right now. And I'm in general with myself, I feel like I need to be more honest or transparent. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I've been too honest and transparent. I don't know. But that's the point I'm at, where I'm like, maybe I just need to be more honest with myself and acknowledge that, I feel like I've been more honest in general this year about my big fears and my worries and my need for certain things, especially like on like my private Twitter or whatever. Because I think maybe that transparency will help. It's like I've kind of touched in the last few. I've noticed myself kind of trying to be nicer and kinder when I already do think I am quite a lot. And I don't know if that's concerning that I'm, like, tripling down on that now that things are getting worse for me. Like, am I just, like, are things getting worse, so I'm, like, tripling down and going, okay, well, maybe if I'm even kinder, then it'll work out, you know? Then I'll feel validation, or I'll feel like, you know, somebody really is out there for me, or, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And so here I am with this probably saddest behind the curtain I've done. Actually, maybe not. I spoke about my grandparents once, so maybe that was worse. But yeah, that's the theme for this week is overwhelming dread or failure or lack of purpose. Just general not being able to see the positives in a lot of things. And for some reason, just some stupid part of me, right, is still hopeful about hope. And that's the thing I realized is, like, I don't get why like, obviously I'm at this point right now, but there's still that part of me that is hopeful that I'm going to be able to hope for something. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, because I feel like maybe that's why I'm struggling so much, because now I just get, like, I keep getting my hopes up, and I think naturally I always get my hopes up, and maybe that's what destroys me. Like, and it sounds so stupid to say, oh, look at me, I'm super hopeful, because some people won't think that. Some people will sit there and think I'm just lying through my teeth, but like that, I think that's why I'm, like, here, because I just know. I just am. It's like ingrained into me. I don't know why, but it's kind of annoying at this point. I don't know if maybe that is my problem. But I'm gonna end it there. I think I've rambled too much and I've been a little too sad. But how have you guys been? I'm curious. Have you guys ever gone through similar things? How have you guys kind of got through it? Has this helped you guys? You know, maybe it's kind of hopefully validated you if you're currently going through this or have gone through this or whatever. That's my point right now. I'm really trying to find any semblance of hope. I'm living off of whatever reassurance I can get from people. I'm literally living off of, like, 3 comments right now. But yeah, thank you guys for watching as usual. If you do still stick around and watch these videos, I'm not going to start getting sad about the way content and all that sort of stuff's gone for me, because that's another rabbit hole. But thank you guys for being there, watching these videos. I appreciate it. And hopefully the next time I've got one of these, it'll be much more of a hopeful update. No promises, but I hope that'll be the case. But thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. You're awesome if you're watching. And I'll see you all next time when hopefully things will be a little brighter. Because boy, do I need them to be. Goodbye.